what time it is. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is. You know what time it is. Matthew Mania, the time it says. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is.
Hi, welcome to the Matthew Mania podcast. I'm Matthew Maschler, real estate broker who watches wrestling as if it's my job. And this weekend, I actually went out on a date with my wife, Wendy. We went to the movies, iPick Movie Theater. Shout out to iPick Movie Theater. Thank you for sponsoring part of my program through my social media contacts. They gave me press passes to see Bruce Springsteen deliver. What's the movie called? Deliver Me from Nowhere. Bruce Springsteen, Deliver Me from Nowhere. I didn't know what to expect. I wanted to talk to you about Bruce Springsteen first for a little bit. I do not know Bruce Springsteen. I'm not a big Bruce Springsteen fan. Certainly, I know the hits: "Born in the USA," "Dancing in the Dark," "Glory Days," "Born in the USA." Did I say "Born in the USA"? I don't know. I'm not a big Bruce Springsteen fan. Don't hate. I don't know more than just the pop songs. So don't really know. And I'll tell you, this is a funny story. I thought I liked Bruce Springsteen. I remember as a kid having the Born in the USA album. The back of Bruce Springsteen with the patch, and I remember playing the record on my little record player. And I was. I'll tell you a story. This exemplifies how I know I'm not a Bruce Springsteen fan. I was living in Marlboro, New Jersey with Wendy. We were, it was after we were married, but before the kids were born. And he was playing a concert at Giant Stadium. It's now MetLife, but at my age, all the stadiums are old. I call them all by their own names. So, and a friend of mine was a big Bruce Springsteen fan, and we all decided to go see him. And I got to tell you, I didn't know any of the songs, and I really thought I'd know the songs, and I didn't think anything of it, right? But we get there, and I don't know the songs. So that's when Wendy either. It was like we were looking at each other. I didn't know. I had to Google before the podcast. I had to Google, what year was it? I was like, when did I see him? So I pulled it up. It's August 31st, 2003. So the kids were born later, June of 2004. So Wendy wasn't even pregnant yet. And I pulled up a set list just now. So it was the premiere of the song Cynthia. He opened with Cynthia. So start of the concert, I'm like, I don't know the song. And then The Rising, which I guess I know now, but I don't think I knew that before. Lonesome Day, I didn't know. Night, I didn't know. Lucky Town, I didn't know. Empty Sky, Waiting on a Sunny Day, Spirit in the Night, Because the Night. I know that song because it's a Patti Smith song, but it's not, it's not a Bruce Springsteen song. Badlands, Two Hearts, No Surrender. The 12th song in, I knew. Mary's Place, don't know that. Lost in the Flood, Into the Fire, and The Promised Land. So Wendy and I sat there for a whole entire concert, and we had no idea any of the music. Encore was Kitty's Back. And then finally, Glory Days, Born to Run. So now it's exciting, but then it's My City in Ruin. Ugh, gag me. Land of Hope and Dreams. Okay. Rosalita, fun. Dancing in the Dark, fun. Jersey Girl. Tom Waits cover. Okay. Probably the worst concert I've ever seen. I do not like Bruce Springsteen. So fast forward, we're living in Boca Raton, and one of David's friends, one of his schoolmates, his father is in a Bruce Springsteen cover band, and he invites me to go see him perform down at I think it was at Deerfield Beach Amphitheater. So I say, Paul, I don't know Bruce Springsteen. I don't. I'm not a Bruce Springsteen fan. I don't know his songs. And he goes, oh, you're going to know all the songs, right? So foolish me goes, he tells me I'm going to know all the songs. I do not know them. I knew Pink Cadillac. That was about it. And then obviously the Encore and, Glory Days or Born in the USA. But second concert. So anyway, not a Bruce Springsteen fan. Paul, last year, it's October 2025 when I'm recording this. About a year ago, Paul was doing a cover show at Woodfield, where I live. So I went out to see him, and we met Clarence Clemens in the parking lot. To this day, Neil the Heel thinks we actually met Clarence Clemens. He thinks it's the real Clarence Clemens. So don't spill the beans. Don't tell him that wasn't actually Clarence Clemens, just like Paul wasn't actually Bruce Springsteen, the guy playing the saxophone that we met in the parking lot. It's not the real Clarence Clemens. The real Clarence Clemens, I remember meeting down at Prime 112, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, Wendy and I go see the Bruce Springsteen movie because, you don't have to be a big fan to go see a movie, and usually they tell you everything you need to know in the movie. I found the movie to be a little confusing. It was a good movie, but it was very tortured portrayal of Bruce Springsteen. I like the actor that played Bruce Springsteen in the movie. I liked him from Shameless. Then I liked him in The Bear, which I don't like that show so much. I haven't really finished it. The Bear should have been better, but he was good in Shameless. He was great in the movie. But man, I really couldn't follow. I didn't know who any of the characters were in the movie. They really didn't do a good job explaining. Like, I didn't understand who his manager was. And the very beginning of the movie, they showed a concert on the Cincinnati riverfront, 1981. And I'm looking at this concert. I'm getting right. So unlike the concert I saw 20 years ago, I'm looking at this concert and I'm like, I was very excited, right? Because Bruce Springsteen. And I'm looking at the band and I'm thinking to myself, I know the names of a lot of people in the band. Clarence Clemens is on the saxophone, Steven Van Zandt is on the guitar, and Max Weinberg is on the drums. And I can't think of any other band that I know so many members of the bands, the names of people in the band, not just the lead singer. But yet I don't know Bruce Springsteen songs, and I'm not a Bruce Springsteen fan. But right away, because I saw Stevie Van Zandt and Max Weinberg, Clarence Clemens, Bruce Springsteen, I'm like, all right, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to enjoy this show. And it was a good movie, but it wasn't really the story of Bruce Springsteen, right? You didn't watch his rise. I didn't know where we were in the movie. I didn't know when the movie was. I didn't know if the movie took place before or after that 1981 concert in Cincinnati on the river, because there were so many people at the concert, but every time you saw Bruce Springsteen, like behind the Stone Pony talking to people, nobody was bothering him. If he was as famous as he should have been after that concert, when he's at the stage door of the Stone Pony, there should have been one person to ask him his autograph. I mean, certainly during the movie, there were times that people would just shout his name or whatnot, but he wasn't like, he was in diners and he wasn't like a celebrity. Nobody was mobbing him, but he had hit songs on the radio. So I just didn't understand. I didn't know if the movie was before or after the 1981 concert where the movie started. So if that was for one. And then I also didn't know if the movie was before or after Born in the USA, because obviously Born in the USA is Bruce Springsteen's biggest hit. Now, eventually we get to Born in the USA in the movie, so obviously now we know that the movie does take place before Born in the USA. But again, I don't know where we are in the movie. I don't know if it's before or after 1981. I don't know how famous he is. He doesn't seem all that famous because when he's out in public, nobody really cares. But he does. The record company is expecting a lot from him, and he is getting play on the radio. People tend to know who he is. So that was confusing as far as the timeline. I didn't truly understand the story. He was very tortured. I get it. They would flash back to his childhood. We understood where the torture was from. And then, but really, like, this, I knew going in that it wasn't a biography. It was about the year that he wrote this album. But again, I think if it wasn't Bruce Springsteen, if it was just a made-up name and I was just watching a movie that was totally fictional, with fictional characters, it would have been a really good movie. But because it was Bruce Springsteen and I didn't know what was going on, it was confusing. And usually for a movie, right, you have three people in the audience, right? You have the diehard Bruce Springsteen fans, mild Bruce Springsteen fans like me, and then someone like my daughter, right, 21 years old, who may not even know who Bruce Springsteen is, and they need to tell you enough information so you know. Funny thing about it was we saw the movie on Saturday, and the 25th, and my daughter, Wendy and our daughter was up at school in Vermont seeing the movie at the same time with some of her friends. So it did have major appeal. People wanted to see this Bruce Springsteen movie, but it was a good movie, but it was very sad. He was very tortured, and I didn't truly understand what the movie was. Looking back on it, you see that it is a movie about him making an album, right? I had to Google the lead, the female lead, the love interest, because who was she? I wanted to know. Who was she? Does Bruce marry her? Do they stay together? What's the stories with her? And I find out from the Google that she's not even a real person. She's a fictional character, an amalgam of girls that Bruce Springsteen would have dated during that time period. They made allusions to the fact that Bruce was struggling with substance abuse. They never actually show any substance abuse. So I don't know how I feel about the movie. I guess it goes back to how I feel about Bruce Springsteen. Not a fan. No disrespect. Great respect for the music. But I really don't know that much about Bruce Springsteen. I would not go see a Bruce Springsteen concert. And I don't see a Bruce Springsteen cover band if Paul Goldschlag was portraying the lead singer. What I will say about the movie is, right, it wasn't called Bruce Springsteen, right? It was called Bruce Springsteen, Deliver Me from Nowhere. So if it's a chapter and they're going to make another movie, right? Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA, right? If each album is a movie, man, sign me up. I will go see another movie. Oh, and I have to tell you, in the movie, we saw Paul Walter Hauser. Paul Walter Hauser, if you are familiar with Cobra Kai, he played Stingray in Cobra Kai. And I had seen Paul Walter Hauser on the very first Jericho cruise, and I didn't think much of it. And I actually didn't think it was him because, like, why would he be on the cruise? And then I found out on the last day, like, it was him. And if now if you go look around the cruise, and you think, oh, Paul Walter Hauser's on the cruise, let me go see who he is. You look around, well, there's a lot of people on the cruise that have that look. So it was hard to find them again. But Paul Walter Hauser, I'm a big fan. If you haven't seen it, you have to see the Richard Jewell movie, where he plays the 1996 Atlanta Olympic bomber, Richard Jewell, the alleged bomber. He was great in that movie. He was certainly great as Stingray in Cobra Kai. And you have to check him out in any movies that he's in, because he's an absolute wonderful actor. He even appeared as Mole Man, right? Mole Man in that last Marvel movie. So that was a special surprise. And okay, spoiler alert. I was if you listen to the last episode of the Matthew Mania podcast, I talked about my Facebook being disabled. One of the things that I was doing while my Facebook was being disabled, the last thing I did on Facebook, I couldn't actually do it, was I was watching a compilation of Stingray as a Cobra Kai Stingray compilation of the kind of the best of Stingray on YouTube. I was sharing it on my Facebook feed, and when I was done with the post and I hit submit, it wouldn't submit because my account was disabled. I meant to mention that last week on my Facebook account being disabled podcast episode. So now it's amazing that I get a second story about Paul Walter Hauser, because he was relevant to my Facebook account being disabled, and he's relevant to the Bruce Springsteen movie, and he'd be relevant to, I guess it was the Fantastic Four movie. Was that where he was? Anyway, why am I talking so much about Paul Hauser? Well, spoiler alert. He was Mole Man in the Fantastic Four. So spoiler alert, Paul Walter Hauser will appear next year at Boca Raton Championship Wrestling. Yes, Stingray at Boca Raton Championship Wrestling, the Mole Man. Or Mike, I think his name was Mike, the Bruce Springsteen movie. So actually, like, we were texting today, and I told him I marked out for him during the movie. It was so exciting. It was like seeing a friend, right? Like, all of a sudden Stingray walked in. I was like, yeah, Stingray. So very exciting, very exciting. That was the highlight for me of the movie. The fact that Paul Walter Hauser is coming to Boca Raton Championship Wrestling March 1st, 2026 for Birthday Bash, unless he get Hollywood calls, and he has to make a movie. I understand. The movie I want to see him in. Yeah, you ready for this? I don't know if it's a prediction or a spoiler, or if I'm just making it up. Living in a Van Down by the River, the Chris Farley story. That would be great. But I will tell you, they better not give it the Bruce Springsteen Deliver Me from Nowhere treatment. I don't want to see a year the life of a troubled Chris Farley as he's being interviewed for Saturday Night Live. I want to see, like, a big biography, and I want to see, like, full Chris Farley living in a van down by the river. I want to see him doing the Chippendales dance with Patrick Swayze. I want to see it all. Just can't wait to see it. If I had a choice between a Chris Farley movie and a new Bruce Springsteen movie, certainly I'm choosing Chris Farley, Beverly Hills Ninja. Was that what he was? Beverly Hills Ninja? Or whatever he was in. All right. Anyway, thank you for joining me on the Matthew Mania podcast. And we will see you at the movies. We will see you at Boca Raton Championship Wrestling and Matthew Mania events. And of course, if you would like to buy or sell real estate in Florida, we would love to help you with that. And if you'd like to get your real estate license, or if you are a realtor and you'd like to join me at Signature Real Estate, we are always hiring. We're looking for new agents. That being said, and then hopefully by the time you hear this, I'll be back on Facebook. But if not, I don't know what I'm going to do. All right. Thank you for joining us on the Matthew Mania podcast. You know what time it is.
You know what time it is. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. Matthew Mania, the time it says. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is. You know what time it is. Matthew Mania, the time it says. Yeah, got him shook, scared, can't look. We're not afraid of the big bad wolf. First comes the right, followed by the left hook. Execute perfect, this is textbook. If you ever test, make sure you bring the best. Head into the ring with the M on my chest. Any match, bring the ladders and the tables. Lock us in the cage and nobody can save you. When it's war, I'm coming to destroy. Napalm blast, I'm coming with the noise. They chant for the king, the girls and the boys. They saying I'm the best cause they didn't have a choice. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. Yeah. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is.